Welcome to Bench to Bold. I'm Alisa.
And I'm Marnie.
And we have an exciting show for you today. We have my great friend Patty on the show today, and we are going to talk about adoption. So stay tuned.
Yes,
Hey.
I'm excited. Hi, guys.
Hey, Patty. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Marnie, Alisa. I'm excited to be here.
Welcome. We're excited to have you. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
out, bearing the cold and
I know.
the wind and all the stuff today. But yeah, so we're filming live here from the office. Thank you
Okay.
for coming.
Absolutely.
So let's just jump right in.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so let's talk about your life with adoption, and tell us when adoption first entered your life.
So, ever since I was a little girl, I actually had a heart for adoption. I had thought about it even before I got married. When I met my husband, he had 2 adopted siblings. So he was very on board with it. We originally had talked about wanting 6 kids. This was back before we got married, and thought, you know what, we'd like to adopt some of those. But we just didn't know what it would look like, how it would be. But it wasn't until much later that it actually became something that we got super serious about and decided to do.
Okay, so you were married and you started thinking about adoption.
We started thinking about it before we got married, when
Okay.
we were kind of talking
When
about
you're dating.
when we were dating,
Okay.
what would our family look like, and we both knew that we had a heart for it. We just didn't know what it would look like.
Now,
Yeah.
did you start talking about adoption because you weren't able to have your own kids and conceive?
No, actually, at that point I had no idea.
Okay.
It was just something that God placed in my heart from a young age that I just felt like I was going to do at some point. I just didn't know what it would look like. And then we actually ended up getting married, and we had 2 biological children. So JD and Ben were both born, and when JD was about 5 and Ben was 3, we just didn't feel like our family was done, that we were complete yet. And we wanted to have more, and we were trying to have more biologically. And at that point, I had a lot of fertility issues, even just getting pregnant with those 2. And we just said, this is the time. And so that was when we started to pursue our first adoption.
And had you done any research on that prior to that moment? Or what was the steps? And you said, okay, we're going to adopt. We want to add more children to our family. So then how did you know what to do?
So that's a great question. So when we found out we really weren't able to have any more children biologically, we said, okay, what are our next steps? So we started researching adoption agencies. We were living here in Matthews at the time, and we actually interviewed several agencies and ended up landing on Christian Adoption Services in Matthews. And I had my heart set, and so I had the 2 boys, and I wanted a girl. I just did. I just was like, we need a girl. So we started the process with, how about adopting from China? So we met with the agency. We said, we really would like to adopt a girl from China. And they said, okay, great. But just so you know, that is really, really taking a very long time, like years. And I was already at this point, I think 38 or so. So they said, it's taking years and years and years.
And why does it, why
Does it take so long?
just,
I don't know. At that point with China, I know particularly there were a lot of families trying to adopt from that area. And so they just had more families, and they had children ready to be adopted, I guess. So it was taking a long time. So we were quite discouraged at first because, I'm not really a patient person, and I was ready, and I didn't want to wait years and years and years. So it was really, we just kind of went home a little bit disheartened, like, okay, what next? Do we do this, or is there something else?
And babies and females are the hardest to get.
Right.
Yeah. My undergrad's in social work, and I worked in adoption services, did an internship, and people always wanted babies, and they always wanted, for the most part, girls. I don't know why, but and girls and babies are hard to get. And I did have a handful of people say that getting from China was very hard because that's where everybody wanted their babies from, because there were other things that were a lot of people would look at adopting from Russia, and they had complications with children from Russia for many reasons. So China, I think, was the safe route and the reason for many years. And a lot of people are late in life because they have been through the infertility and done all the things. And they get to this point, they don't have the time to wait because they are 38 to, 40 or 42 years old. So they want to adopt. Did you ever think of any other route like surrogacy?
We did not. I mean, we went through the infertility, all of that for a little while, but then we just felt called to adopt. So
what was your defining moment?
So we kind of left with the all right, let's kind of pray about and think about what we're going to do. And the adoption agency called us and said, hey, we know, you want a girl. We know that, or you're hoping for a girl. We know that you wanted China, but we just opened up a brand new program in Korea. And the program is moving really quickly and they're looking for families. And so we were like, okay, Korea. I mean, we had never thought about Korea before. So it wasn't like we were opposed to it. It was just a switch. You had your mindset on that this is what we were going to do. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, this store is closing, but how about this? And we said, well, all right, we just need to take a little bit of time and think about it and pray about it. And that exact same day, we were in our front yard in our neighborhood and an Asian couple walked by with their little toddler. And we just said hi and started a conversation. And they actually were from Korea. And they lived in my neighborhood. And so we were like, I think that's a sign. Like it was just that confirmation. And we kind of told them our story and what we were thinking. And they were so excited. She was like, will you teach me English? Will you help me? She had a little toddler. And I was like, yes, come over. We'll meet regularly. And so that was kind of the defining moment where we said, you know what? Yes, we're going to pursue Korea. And 11 months later, our baby girl was home at 5 months old.
Did you go to Korea to get her?
So this process was a little bit different. They actually escorted the children to the United States for you, so you did not have to go. So we had to go to the Detroit airport and meet in what do you call it? The
baggage claim.
Yeah, not the baggage claim, but the immigration.
Immigration.
Yeah,
oh,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah,
think
yeah,
of the word, but
yeah.
And picked her up there. But the cool thing about this story is the Korean family in my neighborhood. The father's name was Jae, J-A-E, which is Korean, and Kyung was the mother's name. Well, Kaya's birth name was Jae Kyung.
Oh my God, that was meant to be.
That was her given name. So when we got that, paper with her picture and her name, they were the first people that we told.
Wow.
Because it truly was a defining moment that they walked by our yard the same day that we got that phone call from Korea, from the agency about Korea, and the same names. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, that's a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sign from someone. Yeah. Higher than us. Yeah. Wow.
So she was 5 months when we were able to bring her home.
And how old were your other children at that time?
They were 5 and 3.
Okay. And how was that with having?
Oh, it was amazing. JD, even at age 5, prayed every day for a little sister. They are all still extremely close, so it's been wonderful. She's 19 now.
Okay. And so then you had another adoption, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how far after?
Okay. So this one was it's nice. I have two exact opposite adoption stories. So we adopted our oldest son, Josh, when he was 14. And he was adopted from Ethiopia. So it was a completely different than adopting a baby. Both amazing. Both, having its own, challenges and rewards, but completely different experience. But Josh was 14 when we adopted him.
And were you looking to adopt again?
So no, we weren't. So kind of what happened was we were in church one day and one of my friends had just come back from a missions trip to Ethiopia and brought back sponsorship cards for children at an orphanage who needed to have sponsors. And we just, as we listened to her speak and we listened to the whole thing, just felt this pull. And at the end of the service, they had tables set up where you could go kind of choose a card. And so as a family, I remember going and looking, which one are we going to pick? Who are we going to pick? And so we did pick a boy and thought, okay, we're going to sponsor this boy from Ethiopia. We thought that was all we were doing. We became close with this family. They had brought and adopted several kids from Ethiopia. And so we just, kind of just followed, their lead, so to speak, and got excited about it and ended up wanting to go to Ethiopia on a missions trip. And with no intention of adopting, but we were going to see the child we were sponsoring and just serve. And my friend asked me, would you take over this gift to this boy who lives there? He is really good friends with our adopted sons. And could you just pray for him? He needs a family. And of course, I will pray and we'll take this gift. And that was the end of that. And so we went as a family to Ethiopia. And the first day we were there, he knew to come to the guest house and get his gift. And we did. And we said hi. And here's the gift. And we took pictures. And that was like the end of that. Didn't see him the rest of our trip. And at the end, we were there for about 10 days. We were getting ready to leave. And I was like, I can't leave Ethiopia. I don't know. There was something in me that just said, I'm not ready to go home. I was a teacher, so I had the summer off, so I didn't have to be back to work. I said, I can't leave. And both JD and Ben were with us, and they were like, we don't want to go either. And they were also on summer break. They were like, we don't want to go. And so my husband was like, you know what? Why don't you guys stay? Why don't you stay and stay for another trip? And so we were like, can we do that? Can we stay? Is that possible? And so we were able to. And the cool thing is we had to raise a lot of money for all of us to travel. So we fundraised a ton and raised a lot of money. And we actually had an overage in our account that went to, the mission group that we were with. And the amount that we had in overage was the exact amount we needed to stay. So we were able, to stay. And we stayed an extra 2 weeks, me and both my boys. The next day, my husband left, and Josh messaged me. They were all really good at Facebook messaging and said, have a safe trip home, because he knew we were heading back. And I said, well, we're still here. And Ben is actually not feeling well, so we're just hanging out at the guest house today if you want to come. He was like, I'll be there. I'll be right there. So he came and spent every single day with us for the next 2 weeks. And by the end of those 2 weeks, he had been messaging with Todd, my husband, through Facebook, like the whole time, calling him dad. And Todd's like, who is this boy calling me dad? Like, is there anything I should know about this? And I was like, yeah. Do you mind if we maybe consider bringing him home? Because we kind of all really love him. And 6 months later, he was part of our family home.
So it took 6 months to get him.
6 months to get him back. Yeah. So I
Was
ended
that
up
a hard
leaving.
process?
Yes, it was a very hard process, and even getting him here, and then the whole adoption and all of the things with immigration, very difficult process. Very difficult. Yeah.
That's an awesome story about both. They were actually meant to be.
They were.
Yes.
They were.
And how old is?
He's 25 now.
Okay.
So he's 25 and he's doing great. Yeah.
And have you gone back to Ethiopia?
So I've been there seven times now.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep. 7 times. So yes. And he's been back twice. We've brought him back twice. So.
And so when you go there, what do you do when you're there?
So he actually has birth family there. He still has a birth mom and 2 birth sisters. So we've reconnected with them, and he now has a relationship with her and with both of his sisters, and I do too. So when we went back, we went to spend time with them, and the first time the whole family went, Todd, the kids, everybody went, Kaya, we all went to meet his birth family, and then the second time he just went.
So what are they doing now?
So Kaya is 19. She's at Liberty University, so she's a freshman, doing amazing. Josh is 25. He works at Bank of America in finance.
He graduated from
UNC Charlotte. Doing great. Lives uptown. Doing wonderfully. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know.
It's a very rewarding story.
It is, but it's not been easy. So,
Adoption's hard.
It has, definitely we are I wouldn't trade either one for anything, but it's not. I always wanted to write a book, especially Kaya's was much easier for some reason. I think her personality, she was, even as a baby, toddler, child, very, very compliant and very, she's had issues more with identity or self-esteem issues that come sometimes with adoption. I mean, it comes with it, growing up in general, being a teenage girl, but being a female. But I think, just a little bit of abandonment issues and just, self-esteem issues. So we've had to deal with some of that, and the fact that we don't know a lot about her birth family. So it's just a little bit of a different experience. We're taking her back to Korea when she graduates from college. So she wanted to wait until she was kind of graduated from college and a little bit older, and we'll go. But adopting a 14-year-old,
I can imagine.
For the faint of heart. I don't want to paint it as such a good picture.
14-year-olds in general are difficult, and then you add in so many different things.
And the culture here is so
culturally different. The weather's different, lifestyle, having siblings. I mean, just all of it is, and probably a lot of, I would imagine for someone to come from a country that doesn't have a whole lot, then to be here in this country, there's probably guilt maybe to be like, how did I get out and my friends didn't, and I'm here having this lifestyle.
There is.
And I would imagine it's kind of like survivor's guilt in some ways, where there's a lot of other issues, and teenage boys can be, teenagers. I mean, I have 3 kids. I know it's like teenagers are rough, and then you add in the other things that we know we have to deal with as parents, parenting in general. But good for you.
So if you had to pick one thing from being the most rewarding thing from your experiences of adoption, what would it be? If you were to give something to someone else, what would you tell them was super rewarding?
That's a great question. I love my family, and I love being multiracial, multicultural. I love what that brings to all of my children. They are all very close, and it just, to me, that's been one of the most beautiful things, is seeing that and being able to embrace that and learn,
the diversity.
Learn from that. I have learned a lot, because, just having Caucasian boys, having an Asian daughter, having, a black son, like all of the things. It's been beautiful, but it's been, that to me has been one of the most rewarding things.
Wow. I mean, that's really beautiful. So, out of the whole adoption process, were there surprises along the way that you were like, this doesn't seem right, or this is easy, or, what were the things like that when you were meeting with the agencies or meeting with the families or whatever? How does that, because we've only seen it really in movies.
I know. So I would say for me, so Kaya was very easy. That was just a very easy experience for us. So we are very, blessed to have an easy kind of experience. And so I think I went into adopting Josh thinking it was going to be easy. And I guess it was hard at first. And I think I was surprised that it was so hard.
Like the immigration process was hard?
No, just the whole, once he got here.
Once he got here.
Before getting here, you have this connection and this relationship, and, they're excited, and, they want to come so badly, and they're wanting family and all of the things. And so you just you come into it with just this, open arms, and you're full of love, and you think it's just going to be this magical fairy tale.
And then reality sets in.
And then they come, and within like 5 days, it's like, okay, they're just a 14-year-old boy with trauma. And so it was surprising. I mean, I went to counseling for probably 2 years about just learning how to parent kids with, trauma issues or attachment disorder. Because, when you think about it, adoption always starts with a trauma. So that's why you're adopting, because there was some trauma that they experienced either at birth or later in life, but there's something. And so that is going to affect them. And it's not, like you said, raising kids in general is hard. So raising, kids who come from trauma, there's just an added layer.
Did he have extensive counseling when he got here?
He went for not right away. He refused to go. Finally, probably I think when he was maybe 17, he agreed to go, but only to be compliant to us. But I don't think he wasn't ready for it. So yeah, now he would be more open to it, but he's doing great now.
He's at that age, I think, now where he kind of understands what, and going to college helps because of all the classes we have to take,
Yes.
The core classes, psychology and all the things it teaches you, right, and maturity, and boys mature at a much slower rate than we do, and females. So, yeah, and we handle things differently. We're more emotional, and they tend to keep things, not that they're not emotional, but they keep things to themselves, and we're a little bit more open and, yeah. What a great story. I had no idea. I'd seen all the things on Facebook and Instagram and followed through all your journeys, but
that's why,
it's a great story to give someone else.
I wouldn't change a thing. And anybody who's considering adoption, I would love to talk to you. I would say do it, especially if you have the heart and you feel called to do it, because it is the most wonderful thing in the world. All 4 of my children. But just like anything worthwhile or anything beautiful, sometimes, it's hard. It's not always easy.
So, Patty, the name of the show is Bench to Bold.
Yes.
You've obviously had many bold moments. And I would imagine that some of the moments where you felt a little bench were probably some of the disappointment early on with going through the process.
Yes.
But all right, so now you have these 4 amazing children, this beautiful family that you've created. And, how do you, so what's next? Do you, do you think your children will adopt? Do they talk about that? Is that something that they've ever said, like, we want to be like you and Dad and adopt children?
I think that they all are very open to it. So I think they are all very open to it. And, I think one of the best gifts I feel like we've given them is just a heart for other countries and different cultures. My daughter's dating a boy right now from Kenya, for example. So just that makes me excited. I would be happy with any boy she chose, but just
as long as he's good to her, right?
Yes, exactly. But the fact that, I don't know, that just made me happy that she's even, that it's just extended to, we're just all one beautiful family. Yeah.
Do you think that when you brought home either of your adopted children, did you ever feel that other people weren't so kind about it?
I have never felt that from anybody in my circle, ever. I know JD and Josh have both experienced some, not being adopted by a family, but just in general racism that they've experienced, being Asian, being Ethiopian. So they've experienced some things that they've shared, but as a family, I've never, I've never.
So it's interesting. It's
luckily.
It just goes. So you were at church and you saw your son, and then you ended up having him. So really, I guess the moral of the story is just go. You're doing something that just always felt right to you, and then you just kept, going forward with that, having no idea. It wasn't like you saw him and said, "Oh, we're going to go."
Right.
Bring him to the United States and put him in our family.
No.
It just organically really
and we kind of got there a different way. We got there because, our friends, kind of spurred us on to Ethiopia, and we were going to go meet the boy we were sponsoring. And, oh, by the way, will you take a gift to this boy and pray for him? And then that just, so we didn't plan on that. But by the end of the time, it was just, we just knew.
What was it about Ethiopia that you liked so much? Just what was the feeling that you felt there?
Ethiopia is a beautiful country, and the people are absolutely beautiful, just inside and out. We just fell in love with the entire, just the whole process. And the trip that we were on was wonderful. And my kids were little. I mean, they were changed by it, It was just great.
That's really nice.
So I can't wait to go back.
When are you going back?
We don't know, but probably next summer. Maybe
Okay.
not this coming summer, but
You have a lot of, how many
next summer.
flyer miles do you have?
I think I know. I save up. I think right now I have 127,000 miles saved
Okay.
up. So yeah.
All right. So how many
Yeah.
miles? So how do you get there?
It's so we usually travel on United and
Okay.
you go to Washington D.C. and then to
Okay.
Ethiopia.
Oh, wow. And how long is the flight?
Like 14 hours, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's
It's not
too
horrible.
bad. No, 14 hours is not bad.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
No, I think
not,
so.
Then you get there and what's
Yeah,
and then you're just there enjoying the whole country.
exactly.
And have you been to other parts of Africa?
Not any other countries. I've been to different parts of Ethiopia, but just not to any other countries.
And
So-
did you learn to make Korean and Ethiopian food for your children?
I am learning. They are actually better at it than me. Kaya can make really good Korean food, and Josh cooks Ethiopian. Yeah, and we go out, and get
Oh, I was gonna
Korean or
say, Charlotte
Ethiopian
has some
restaurants
great,
all the
right?
time. Yeah.
Some great restaurants here for that.
Yes.
I actually like their culture, their food. It is really good. Yes, especially Korean. I'm a big Korean fan of food. But so another bold moment, teacher turned successful realtor. Let's talk about that just for a minute here at the end. Yeah, we want to highlight your wins for your success in being a realtor with Ivester Jackson. So tell us a little bit about that and how that's going for you and how people can find you.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I was a teacher for 30 years. Not always full time during those 30 years, but from start to finish, when I retired, I got into real estate. This is my 5th year. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm with Ivester Jackson with Christie's International, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it looks like you do.
I
love watching
love
you.
it. So I love what I do. I love my clients, my families that I work with. I'm so blessed. I'm really blessed.
You have a great team too.
I do.
Yes. Shout out. Yes, you do have a great team.
I know. She happens to be the daughter of my friend who introduced us to Ethiopia. So
Okay. Wow.
give a little
Small
plug
world.
over there.
Small world. Yes. Okay. Well,
But thank you. Yes. So if anyone, has questions about adoption, has questions about real estate, family, anything, please.
how can we
How do we
find
find
you?
you?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm on social media. So Patty Shropshire Realty. I can give my contact information. You're welcome you're welcome to call me anytime, text me, reach out. Yeah, I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to.
We will make sure your contact information is on the podcast and in all the social media verbiage. Yes. Well, thank you so
Those
much.
are wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Patty,
Thank
for
you.
sharing your story.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
I do too. Very heartwarming. Okay, so that's going to wrap up our show today with Bench to Bold. I'm Alisa,
And I'm Marnie.
Thank you.
and we will see you soon. Take care.